Am I the a-hole for not letting my mother-in-law come over after she destroyed my Millennium Falcon Lego set? I, 38M, live with my wife, 37F, and my 7-year-old son. I work as an engineer and my wife is a senior supervisor at a law firm. I have always loved Legos since I was a kid, and sure, it's kind of childish, but it makes me happy, so I've kept it as a consistent hobby throughout my adult life. In 2024, I spent months building the Millennium Falcon with my son. It's me and my son's pride and joy, and I often show guests who come over. My wife doesn't really get the height, but doesn't mind either. In early March, my wife's parents came over for a week to spend time with us. As I usually do with guests, I asked them if they would like to see my Lego collection. They agreed, and I showed both her father and mother my Millennium Falcon. Her father was amazed at the time it took to build my sizable collection, but her mother said that it was a waste of time and that I should focus on being a real man and move up the corporate ladder. I laughed it off because she's pretty old and I figured she just held very old-fashioned beliefs. We left the room and nobody really mentioned it for a few hours, but at dinner her mother said out of nowhere that I should give up on all this Lego nonsense and be a real man. We ignored this and moved on, but you could see in her expression that she was not happy. Nobody said anything about it for the rest of their stay, and all seemed well the morning they left. They left at 3 a.m. to catch a flight, and we waved them off. I went back to bed, but the next morning awoke to find my Millennium Falcon smashed to pieces with a note from my wife's mother calmly saying that this was for my own good so that I can be a real man and focus on what matters. It turns out she had quietly destroyed it in the night and left in the morning. Me and especially my son were very upset. I called her in the morning, but she refused to apologize. I said that until she apologized they would not be coming back again. My wife is not happy with my decision on this matter, and honestly, I'm starting to wonder if I overreacted. Did I go overboard or am I in the right? She ruined something you and your son did together. Regardless of her feelings about you, she actively did something that hurt her grandchild. That right there is grounds to not allow her in your home or have a relationship with your child. Your wife needs to think of how disrespected you were as an entire family unit. If she doesn't back you up with this, then you have some serious issues. Good luck, dude. Not the a-hole. Update. First off, I want to thank everyone for the outpouring of support. It's been wonderful seeing everyone's advice has helped me realize a few things. I had a good long talk with my wife in an attempt to resolve the situation, and we've again called the mother-in-law, which I hoped would diffuse the situation and bring things back down to earth. Instead, tensions have seemed only to have escalated. For anyone who didn't see the original post, my wife's parents came to visit for a week, in which things went relatively smoothly aside from some disparaging comments about my Lego collection from the mother-in-law. But after they left in the night, we discovered the Millennium Falcon destroyed with a note from my mother-in-law saying she did this so that I can move on and be a real man. Firstly, after lunch my wife and I discussed the situation adult to adult. I expressed my feelings of her not being behind me in this. She admitted to having harbored feelings against my Lego collection. She also admitted to secretly agreeing partially with my mother. She doesn't think that my mother-in-law should have gone as far as she did. But according to my wife, I need to move on. I feel hurt by this since it's been my lifelong hobby, and being an engineer, I take great joy in building various creations with Legos. After that, my wife and I were certainly not in agreement, but we were at least on the same page. We also both wanted to resolve things with my mother-in-law, and so that day we called her mother and things did not go well, to say the least. I simply told her that I was sorry I had to not let her come back, and I hope things can be resolved quickly. Still feeling upset about the LEGO Millennium Falcon, I said that all I asked of her was an apology. She refused, saying that if she bends for me at all, I would never get over my Lego obsession. My wife is not happy with any of this, and frankly, the marriage is starting to show tensions, which worries me greatly. She seems to be more distant after all of this. My son has developed a strong disliking of the mother-in-law, and I really can't blame him. She has been getting a little crazy and seems to only talk about Trump these days. Should we start considering a senior home for her? So that's the update. Things are getting even worse, and I'm not sure if I can salvage the situation. I'll update everyone when new developments occur. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for not canceling my graduation trip to babysit my sister's kids? I 23F graduated college last week, and me and a few friends planned this small road trip to celebrate. Nothing crazy, just 4 days driving along the coast, staying in cheap Airbnbs, eating good food, taking pics, something we've talked about doing since sophomore year. Everyone chipped in, we saved for it, and it was meant to be one last trip before people start moving away or starting jobs. Anyway, 2 days before we're supposed to leave, my sister 32F calls me kind of freaking out. She's got 3 kids under 7, and her babysitter canceled last minute. She and her husband had planned a weekend anniversary getaway, and now she wants me to stay back and watch the kids. I told her I couldn't. I'd already paid for my part of the trip. I was really looking forward to it, and it wasn't something I could just drop last second. She got super upset and said I was being selfish and immature, and that I don't have anything important going on, and she never asks me for help. Not really true. She does, a lot. Then my mom chimed in too, saying I should be there for family and that my trip could wait. I told them I wasn't trying to be mean. I just wanted to do this one thing for myself after working my butt off for 4 years. Why can't your mom babysit? Is she not family? It's fun how family helps family always seems to come from the family member not helping. Not the a-hole, by the way. It might be worth considering skipping the trip if your sister was hard up for a babysitter because she was at risk of losing her job or had a dire emergency. But she just wants to go on her own vacation. F that. There's nothing special about having kids that means that everyone else has to cater to her. Since you didn't get a say in them being born, then you're not responsible for them. Enjoy your road trip. Definitely not the a-hole. Your sister is being selfish. Her anniversary trip with her husband is not important, and they can postpone. Sometimes that is just life with kids. The kids are the parents' responsibility, not yours. OP replies, "Thanks, that actually makes me feel a little better. I've been really torn about it, but you're right, her anniversary isn't somehow more important than my graduation. I worked hard for this, and it's something I've been looking forward to for ages. Just wish she saw it that way too." Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my brother's GF she can't expect me to treat her kids like I treat mine and that she is not entitled to anything from us? I 32F have 2 sons with my husband, a 10 months and a 3 years old. I obviously love my kids, but I don't really like other kids, especially kids I don't know well. I am just not the maternal type that will want to interact with other kids or find them cute or whatever. My brother has been dating his girlfriend, Natalie 31F, and she has 2 kids as well, 7M and 5F. When we first met Natalie, she seemed excited that I have kids and started planning how our kids will bond and play together. This did not happen, and the main reason is the age difference. Again, my kids are 3 years old and 10 months. I don't know how she imagined that her 7 years old will bond so well with a baby or someone 4 years younger than him. Her 5 years old daughter is a different situation. She is very rowdy, so my oldest avoids her at all cost when we meet during family functions or whatever. Despite our kids clearly not blending well, I would say we were nice towards Natalie and her kids. Last Christmas, for example, the first Christmas since they got together, we gave gifts to her kids when we met at my parents' place for dinner, and I thought that was enough. However, Natalie decided to confront me on things I apparently did wrong and hurt her feelings. She mentioned, "I do not show a special interest in her kids that will potentially become my niece and nephew in the future. I refuse to have her kids over at my place for playdates without her being present. To be clear, I am okay with hosting her, my brother and her kids for a dinner or something. I refuse to make my son like her daughter. I am cold towards her kids. I explained to her that I can't and will not force my kid to play or be friends with anyone. I also said that I am not comfortable having her kids in my house without her present. I do not know her kids that well. I have no idea how they behave outside of the few family settings that we have all attended, and I don't want to be responsible for 2 stranger kids in my house." On the coldness side, I explained to her that I am not cold on purpose, but this is how I am as a person. I am not a kids fan. I am not overly maternal and I simply don't feel like being overly excited over kids. She said that this is not true because she saw that I am everything I claim not to be with my kids. Well, yes, because they are my own children. She also claims that everyone has been excluding her children. When I asked her how, she gave the same examples from above and claimed that my parents are more affectionate towards my kids. Yes, again, because they are their grandkids? In the end, we were not getting anywhere, so I told her, "Look, Natalie, you started dating my brother 1 year ago. My parents and I had a couple of meetings with you and your kids, and everyone was nice to all of you. I don't know what your problem is, but you need to speak to my brother. No one is excluding your kids, but you can't expect us to treat your kids the same as mine. This is never going to happen. My kids are my kids. They don't owe anything to yours, and you are not entitled to anything from us. Please solve this issue with my brother." My brother apologized for her and mentioned to me she sounded like a mad woman, focused on the absurd differences she sees when it comes to our kids. He agrees our parents are not doing anything wrong and that I am not doing anything wrong. He knows me and he is aware I am not doing anything on purpose. He said that Natalie has been crying after our discussion, and while he agrees with me, he asked me if I can try being more empathetic towards her feelings. I told him that I am polite to her, but she seems manipulative, and if she doesn't want to hear the truth, she should not start this kind of discussions with me. My brother is lost. He does not know how to manage this madness, and I am honestly confused if I did anything wrong when speaking to her. Not the a-hole. She was hoping to leave them with you for date nights and weekends away. You just slaughtered that dream and she's not happy. Opie replies, "Yeah, no, that's just never going to happen." Update. I have received a lot of feedback on my original post, and for that I am very grateful. I tried replying to as many of you as I can, but it is overwhelming and my DM is full. But I have read your comments and I really appreciate you spend some of your time to talk to me. I will clarify some points that keep being mentioned and then I will get into the update. Many of you pointed out that Natalie is looking for an instant family. I was not used to this term, but yeah, after reading your comments and looking for more information, I agree that this seems to be the case. Many of you asked about her family and her kids' father/grandparents. I don't know much about them. My brother told us something along the lines, she has a complicated relationship with her family, and we did not insist for more details. We consider this to be her privacy and assume that we will get more info when she is ready. There was a lot of confusion on why the children don't like each other. Natalie's 7-year-old son has no interest in the kids, not even for his sister who is 5. My baby is 10 months old, so except of his food, laughing, and being entertained, he has no interests at the moment. My 3-year-old son doesn't like Natalie's daughter because, as I mentioned, she is rowdy and too much for him. She is not used to play with little kids, and so she broke one of his favorite toys and pushed him on 2 different occasions, making him land on his butt. This led to my son clinging to me, my husband, or my parents each time he is around her. The most overwhelming part of this post for me was receiving a lot of messages from people who told me how they were forced to play with kids they didn't like and how this affected them. I am really sorry for all of your experiences, but I guarantee you I will not do the same to my kids. I would rather have people calling me names than force my kids to do something they are not comfortable with only to feed my ego and make myself seem as a nice person. In case I was not clear, I am a mother first and my main priority is to be an ally to my kids, not be a saint or seen as the most amazing woman alive. Many of you accused me of not making time to bond with Natalie and her kids even after her dating my brother for a year. To be clear, up until this point, I only met her kids 4 times. I think people miss some details in regards to timing. Natalie started dating my brother last year around February. Last year I was pregnant. I gave birth, and after that I had to raise a newborn baby and a toddler. So yeah, sorry to disappoint some of you for not abandoning my kids at home to go meet my brother's latest girlfriend. I am a very nasty person for raising my kids. Some of you seem to be very social people who are able to form bonds with new people in a matter of hours upon meeting them. I am not like this. For me, it takes time to grow a relationship, get used to someone, and be able to be comfortable. So in my books, the people who I have seen only 4 times in my entire life are still strangers. Lastly, I was accused of being a cruel person for not being willing to be Natalie's village. I am sorry if she is in the position of needing a village instead of already having people willing to help her. But I have no obligation to be anyone's village. At this point in time, I am my family's village, meaning my husband, my kids, and my pets. I have enough excitement daily with my gremlins. My oldest, although a calm and cute kid, is a pain in the butt that needs to be supervised all the time. If I don't supervise him all the time, he will sneak and eat the cat's food or insert his fingers into the wire sockets, by the way. A genuine question for all the parents who have 3-year-old kids. Are all the kids so kamikaze, or only mine is this level of menace? So yeah, I don't need 2 additional striker kids into my home unsupervised by their parents. Sue me. Now the update. After reading all your replies, I understood my brother is not being fair. He asks me to be understanding of Natalie's situation, but is he understanding of mine? I don't think so. So I sent him the following message. Hey brother, I had some time to think about the entire situation and I want to share my thoughts with you. First of all, I did something that might make you mad and you might not agree with, but please keep an open mind and read what I am about to send you. I made a post on Reddit and asked about my situation with Natalie, and the replies were mostly pointing to the same direction. Maybe you'll want to see some unbiased feedback from hundreds of people who don't know us and are able to have a clear perspective. Now, I feel like you are not fair towards me. I understand you have a relationship with Natalie and she is your life partner, but it seems very selfish of you to put the burden on me. I understand Natalie may have some issues with her family. She may desperately need to feel accepted and to have a big family for her and her children, but her struggles were not caused by me. You asked me to be understanding towards her, but were you understanding towards me? Did you defend your nephew when he was pushed twice by Natalie's daughter? Did you even explain to Natalie she is expecting too much from your sister who is dealing with a baby and a toddler? Did you defend your parents when Natalie commented about them? I am sorry it got to this point, but I will be honest. My main priority will always be my family, not Natalie, not her kids. I am not a therapist. I am not an emotional support animal, and I am not her punching bag for times when things don't go her way. I love you. I am happy if you are happy, but I need some space from the toxicity she brings. You have known me since I was a baby. You know how I am, so please set the record straight with her and explain that I will never be what she wants when she wants. After around an hour, he replied, "Oh crap. Give me some time to read everything and gather my thoughts. I will come over at your place, just give me some days, please. Love you." Now the bag is in his court. You were right. Natalie is his girlfriend, so his problem. Let's see how things turn out after he comes to talk, but I am keeping my expectations low. I hope you guys like this video. If you did, make sure like, comment, share, and subscribe the channel HB Reddit Stories.